Okay. Well, at one point you stopped working with the FBI.
Long time ago.
Yeah. And they retaliated by actually putting your name out in the newspaper?
Okay. The first time I stopped working for the FBI was when they told me they couldn't protect me any longer. They said they couldn't protect my identity from any FBI agents and stuff like that. And so because I still wanted to find out about my father, that was after I first came home. The second time was after when I took the second pinch. They wanted me to work with them. You know what they told me? Joe, listen, we're going to give you some money to put out in the street. I said, ooh, oh, wow, okay, that's great. And I says, okay, what do I do when they don't want to pay? How do you want me to collect it? And they didn't want to answer me. Okay? So I says, okay, don't give me the money to put out in the street. I'm not working with you no more. And then I hired this wise guy attorney, George Santangelo, who actually robbed me about $45,000, but he did give me $2,500 back. Anyway, he tells Patty Boy Falsetti, and now my word is out in the street, plus they outed me that I was a rat all those years. Okay? So the FBI actually not only threw me to the wolves, they threw me to the whole jungle. And so now I had no choice but to take a public authority case, because now my name is ruined. So now everybody knows it. Now, then they had the balls or the nerve to even ask me 3 times, we're going to give you the witness protection program. Now, would you take the antidote from the same people who gave you the poison? I don't think so. Okay? I don't think so. And this is how screwed up they are.
Well, what was the effect when your name comes out as an informant for, was it 18 years?
Yep.
Because you're still in somewhat of a connection with all these guys that you've been informing against, essentially. I mean, did you feel like your life was in danger?
Of course. I'm never going to be able to think that, okay, it's over. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. I tried to sue them for $20 million.
Right.
And of course, summary judgment, they threw my lawsuit out. You know it wasn't going to go. But you know why they threw it out, really? To be honest with you, they knew that I would win in trial. You know why? Because I beat a fake murder case that so they knew if I just told the truth and told them about all my misery and what I did for the last 18 years and why I got white hair and why I lost it and why I got stressed and why I can't sleep at night and why I got PTSD was because of them. Yeah, I think the jury would say like, damn, the guy deserves something.
Well, was there any attempts on your life after it was found out that you were cooperating?
There was people that somebody said there was a $100,000 hit on my life. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't confirm it. I'm sure if somebody saw me, I'm sure they would probably try to do something if they could. I don't know if they could shoot me. Maybe they don't carry guns. Maybe they try to fight me or something like that or beat me up.
Because you moved out of New York once your name got revealed.
I did. I haven't lived in New York in 15 years.
Okay. Do you ever go back to your old neighborhood?
I went there the other day, because I had to do the show.
Were you nervous?
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest with you, know why I'm really nervous a little bit? What I did was wrong. I'm not going to try to deny it. But the people I hurt, if they want to come after me, if that's the case, I don't know exactly how many people I hurt because I don't really know what the information I gave, what the FBI actually did with it. But there was some friends of mine out there who don't like me. All right, you don't want to like me for what, but I never hurt you. I never told anything about you. I never said anything about you. And especially if I get into a fight now and say I go to prison now, what do you think's going to happen to me in prison? It's kind of hard to run away. You know what I mean?
Well, you'll be in PC.
They would throw me back in the box again.
Yeah.
And I know a guy that was a Hell's Angel guy. He's been on, you think you know him? I forget, he was a good guy too. I actually was good friends. I was friends with Sandy Alexander. I don't know if you ever heard him. He was pretty big in Hell's Angel stuntman and everything too. And he said, I'd rather fight 10 guys than go back to the box. And so would I.
I mean, yeah, when I interviewed Michael Franzese and I asked him what the hardest thing he went through, he said being in solitary confinement.
And I believe
he said that humans are just not designed to be in that type of environment. They're social creatures. And when you completely take that away, you'll start to develop, mental health issues. And you're essentially talking about the same thing.
I was on Klonopin. I don't know if you know what that drug is. It's a mind-altering drug that you can't just get off of it right away. I had to be weaned off of it because the psychiatrist that was able to prescribe it took one look at me and said, you need to be on medication. A look at me.
Yeah.
Okay, when I first came home, one look at me. I was sitting in the dark. Okay? I don't get me wrong. I've managed it a little bit better. But I get startled at everything you don't know, and I try to hide it because I don't want people to see any weaknesses in me. But the segregation, the solitary, and that's why I have to say thank you to Judge Buchwald, because she told me when I went to MCC that he's not going back to the box because he's fighting a trial here. So I give her all the props for that, okay? And I was scared. I passed out almost when they told me I was going to go back to the box. Almost passed out again with the anxiety because I didn't want to go back there. Because I don't know how to describe it to you, but you're alone. And even Vinny, when I was talking to Vinny Gorgeous, when we were in the thing, he says, Joe, be strong, he says, because these walls start closing in on you. And he was right. And, it was rough for me. Because you got to remember one thing, too. What I was working with the feds, I didn't like it, and I still feel it was wrong to even be with them people. But at the same time, I'm innocent. I'm not going to kill anybody. All right. Maybe I got close to it that time with Mikey knows. But he got arrested. Thank God for him. But other than that, I kept my distance a lot of times because I knew that the wise guys would want me because I was capable and I was that kind of guy and I portrayed myself to be that guy. You got to remember, whether I was alone or in public, I always had to pretend and portray the man I was trying to be out there.
Well, you called Michael Franzese the greatest mobster of all time.
I don't know if he's the greatest mobster of all time, but I'll tell you right now, he was one of the biggest earners of all time, probably.
Oh, yeah. That whole gas scam was...
Well, but you see, this is another guy. Here's Michael Franzese, loyal, okay, to these people, giving them more money than they ever seen, okay? And yet they still had to call him down for a sit down and give him a hard time. Are you kidding me? Where's the brotherhood here? Why don't you say like, hey, brother, good? I mean, there was rumors that somebody said, oh, maybe he was going to take over the family because, money buys you power. You know that. Okay, some people, I say, Vlad, let me give you $1 million. You do this. Nah, Joe, I can't do it. How about I give you 5? Wait a minute. That's a little bit more money now. You understand? He wasn't doing anything. He was earning.
Yeah.
He was doing what he was supposed to be doing, being a criminal.
Yeah. I mean, I remember a conversation I had with the Freeway Ricky Ross, who was one of the biggest drug dealers in the country at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And his own plug, switched on him and basically gave him life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And he said at first he was angry. He couldn't believe that this guy, turned on him and worked with the feds.
Mm-hmm.
But then he realized that crime comes with cooperating. So you can't just sit there and be surprised when it happens because it happens almost all the time. You have to accept it as part of the reality of the life that you chose. And once he realized that, then he taught himself how to read and he figured out a way to get out of his life sentence.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he did.
Yes.
But it's one of those things where people like to call people snitches and rats and so forth when that's really more the norm than the exception.
Sometimes it's an easy way out and nobody wants to put in the time, like this gentleman you just mentioned, to do the work and put in the work to get out legally. There's been a lot of people who actually got out of work legally because you got to remember one thing. The feds are like accountants with guns. They're not smart really that much. They have all the money they want in the world. You can hire anybody you want, paralegals, lawyers, and this and that. They're not the smartest hacks in the book. But the whole thing is like this. I don't know if Tom Cruise made a movie. I forget what it was. He was supposed to be a big drug dealer back then. I forget the name of the movie. They had him killed too. No, not the wise guys, not the drug dealers, the government. Okay? So I don't know if it was a secret CIA thing he used to do or whatever, but he portrayed it perfectly.
American made.
That's it, American made.
Yeah.
That's based on a true story. And let me tell you something. We all know there's another guy that was a CIA guy. I forget his name, something Webb, I think his last name was. He outed, you remember the big crack epidemic back in the 80s? Remember it was like the big thing? Even Richard Pryor got burnt
Gary
up.
Webb.
Gary Webb. Okay, he exposed the CIA for allowing the crack epidemic to start.
Well, yeah, Freeway Ricky Ross was part of that story.
There you go. Okay, so
that's actually connected to what I just talked about.
Well, Greg Webb committed.
But Freeway didn't know that this was happening at the time.
How
he
could
finds
you?
out after the fact.
Well, I found out I was allowed $100,000 after the fact. Otherwise, I'd have been telling him, listen, I'm spending $50,000 this week with my friends. Can you give me the money?
Right.
But Greg Webb committed suicide, shot himself twice in the head.
Yeah.
Twice.
How do you shoot yourself twice in the head?
Thank you.
Yeah, me and Freeway talked about this.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So this guy Freeway knows what he's talking about.
Right.